Why are you walking all crazy like that? All right, y'all, where y'all at? I'm gonna stay on a few more minutes before I start watching YouTube. Mm-hmm. Hey, one person. Hey, two people. Hey, Lynn. Who's the other person on here? Dorian? Or my West Coast people? All right, I'm gonna start in the next couple of minutes. I'm just sitting here. Boy, let me tell you, it was so slow with Zifty this evening. Oh, it's going good. It was so slow with Zifty. Only had 2 orders. And with the power hour, let me tell you about that power hour. The power hour with Zifty means you basically get an extra dollar per order as long as you accept 90% of the orders and stay on 90% of the time. So, of course, I started at 6. Hey, Ruthie. Let me tell you, I was supposed to start from 6 to 10. And I started a little bit late. I got into the Zifty zone about 6. I want to say it was like 6, almost 6:30. So I lost 30 minutes. So anyway, I'm on, it gets to 10 o'clock. And at that point, my power hour is over. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get to 90%. No, I didn't get to 90%. I got to 88%. So that means if I had logged on just 5 minutes earlier than I initially started, I would have been at 90%. I would have got my $21 and some change and would have went on home. No, so that didn't happen. So I was like, God dang it, how could be just a couple minutes past before I could hit 90%? So they had an extra hour, not at 10 o'clock, but at 11, from 11 to midnight. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and choose the power hour of, ew, nasty. Hey, so let me tell you. So I said, let me go ahead and choose the power hour, which starts at 11 till midnight. I don't have to, so I could get to the 90%. No. And I should have known. When I chose that extra hour from 11 to 9, I'm logged off of Zifty right now. It reverted back to 83%. Oh, I'm trying to see what that email was. So I was like, okay. So then at that point, for me to get to 90%, I probably have to work, let me see, stay on the clock 30 minutes, something like that, or whatever, in the zone. So I'm at this Quick Trip and I'm not even nowhere close to being home yet. So that means I have to basically stay in the area or in the zone, which starts from downtown Atlanta, Midtown, Virginia Highlands, and basically once I get to right outside of what is that area? Right before I get Brockett Road. And I was like, bump it. Zifty, they just keep their little $2 and I'll just make $19 and some change. But I was trying to like get to that 90%. So I'm not going to stay there long. Matter of fact, I can't even stay out here this long because tomorrow morning I start my OJI training with that merchandise company that I was talking to y'all about. I'm not going to go too much into it because of social media and things like that. So a lot of my videos, I don't have to delete them, put it that way. So, anywho, And I got to meet them at the store, one of my territory stores. It's on Panola, but it's not that far from my house because most of my territory is Stone Mountain, Tucker, Decatur. So it won't be too far, but I have to get, I'll be shadowing or whatever with this person so they could show me things. They can't show me everything in one day because this person is out of town and they are working out of town. They're going back home Friday and they won't be in Atlanta until probably the week after. So I'll get the juice of it tomorrow, but I got to meet them tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning at the store, so I don't want to be late. And I don't know how long I'll be out there tomorrow, so it'll probably be like 8 to 2, 3, 4 o'clock. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, what was I supposed to be talking about on my live stream tonight? Oh, now tax season is fast approaching, April 15th. Some states like Massachusetts, which is Emancipation Day or Patriots Day, y'all have until the 17th of April. And because they consider that some kind of holiday or something, I don't know. And so anyways, so what are the things we have to account for? Because it's only less than a month away before taxes are due. Now, if you're one of those people who fortunately owe taxes, you want to make sure you file an extension to file your return, which will give you a 6-month extension, which is October 15th. An extension to file does not give you an extension to pay. If you owe taxes, it must be paid by April 15th. So you want to make sure you pay as much of that taxes as possible to avoid getting charged interest and penalties. You will be charged interest and penalties if you do not pay by the deadline. Number 2, you also want to be accounted for or be cognizant of if you have not filed your taxes for the last 3 years. The statute of limitations, if you did not file taxes for 2016. If you did not file your taxes for 2016 and you're due a refund and you do not file by the deadline, by April 15th, your statute of limitations is up to be entitled to any refund that is due to you. A lot of people don't realize, they may think they're not getting a refund. But if you're a person who had any type of taxes taken out and you have teenagers or younger persons that you claimed and they had a little part-time job and they had any type of tax taken out, they still need to file a tax return because it's not based on can they claim themselves or tax exempt, which that's a whole nother topic altogether. Any taxes taken out your check and you didn't make enough money, you still file that return because you're entitled to get that money back in withholdings. And that basically applies to a lot of people who are not just teenagers, but very low income people. You work a job and you had a couple $100 taxes taken out, but you didn't make enough money to file. You're still entitled to that refund of that taxes that you paid in your withholdings. So if you made like $1,000, $1,500, but yet you had $200 taken out of your check, you're still entitled to that $200 because you weren't supposed to take any taxes, or no taxes should have been taken out of your check, especially if someone could claim you as a dependent, and 2, you don't make that much money to have taxes taken out, but you're entitled to that refund. Another thing, you want to file a return because if you're low income and you're over the age of 25 and over, you may get that earned income tax credit, which is a refundable credit. So if you didn't file your taxes In 3 years, from 3 years ago, the statute of limitations is fast approaching. After the statute of limitations, if you did not file your tax return within those 3 years and you were entitled to a refund, you need to file it as soon as possible, because at that point, the government keeps your money. And if you try to file that return that's 5 years old, 6 years old, and you didn't think that you were supposed to get a refund because you think you didn't make that much money and you didn't file, but you had taxes taken out, you have until April 15th to file it. Another thing you want to think, that you want to be aware of, is taking advantage of the IRA contributions. As 1099s, or people who work in this gig economy, you can still save on your taxes by opening up a IRA, which is the individual retirement account. Most people who do these 1099 gig jobs, y'all just working, or let me say, we're just working just to make the money for now and not thinking about ways to save on your taxes. Most people save on their taxes when they work at a job is that they deferred their income by contributing to a 401k or a thrift plan or any type of retirement plan. Money set aside for the future. The money you set aside for the future with a contribution from your employer is deferred. That means you're not going to pay taxes now, but you will pay later down the road. But it's a savings plan where you get to save for retirement, and you hope that your 401k or thrift plan grows to an amount that it could help you supplement Social Security. Social Security is not meant as a lifetime savings that you're going to get any type of money from Social Security. Most people, when you get 65, 67, 68, or whatever year or whatever age Social Security Administration decides that one could get their Social Security, you're not really going to get a lot of money in Social Security. You may benefit and get maybe a little bit over $1,000 a month. That's it. You may get, that's not really a lot of money for retirement, getting your Social Security. That's why you hear a lot of older people, when you hear a lot of older people says, well, all I have is Social Security from my husband, because back in the day, women were not allowed to work, or women were not in the workforce. And I'm talking about women like my grandmother and back. Because most people don't realize, at least in my age or generation, it was only one generation back that women were allowed to really work. So if you're my age or so, your mother probably was just one generation from allowing to work. Beyond that, it was my grandmother, my great-grandmother. They were homemakers, or they worked on a farm, or they worked, they take care of their families, and they were stay-at-home mothers who came from a generation where women really did not work. Not like that, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you get what I'm saying. That Social Security is not meant for you to live on and live comfortably. You will not live comfortably with Social Security. And the way how they talking about Social Security, how they want to privatize it and trying to make all these changes, some people think that Social Security may not be around. And that may be true. I don't know. But that's not something I'm going to rely on solely. So they get food. Who said that? Do they get food stamps? Who do get food stamps? No, I mean, I can't say everyone gets food stamps. I mean, I got food stamps, but that has nothing to do with getting Social Security. So I got food stamps because, one, I was unemployed, and anyone could get food stamps based on the situation. Now, food stamps is not has not always been around. So, I don't, food stamps, I remember growing up as a child, my parents at the time, I'm quite sure they were not well off. They weren't. I remember getting that box of cheese, a big box of cheese that they used to give out, and the not the I know a lot of people say about that powdered milk, but I've never seen that. But I guess they said the powdered milk, the cheese, the big, and that was big. I remember. And what else they used to give out? Powdered milk, cheese. What else they used to give? I remember. The government cheese. It was stuff like that. Food stamps was not how they was doing it back then. People went there, you got a box of food or whatever it was, and that's how they used to do it. The people who, when you say, I can't even see, I can't stand this. I'm blind. The people who are 65 years old. Now, I don't mean they get some food stamps. That don't necessarily mean they get food stamps, but they get Social Security. I don't know. I can't answer for that. But I looked at one other lady video. She said she only gets $8. What was she said? $8 or $11 a month in food stamps because she was getting she was getting SSI. But then, when she got her Social Security, she only qualified for $11 worth of stamps. You don't get a whole lot of, let me tell you, you don't get a lot of, I got 107, what is it, 196, 176, one of those two amounts a few weeks ago for a single with no dependents and unemployed. That's all you get per month. Now that's an adequate amount of money for food stamps for one person. So I mean, as long as I don't spend it on foolishness, but like I did, I went to the Cab Farmers Market. There were certain things I shouldn't really got. I probably would have not spent as much, like trying to get French cookies. It was $1.70. It was $1.49 a box. It was a little box. I got 2 of those, and the banana bread, $6.99, or $4.99. It's like you just have to budget and clip coupons and go on the grocery store when things on sale. So they gave me a prorated amount the first month, and then next month, April 1st, I get the $1.96. But I don't really. I mean, I go to like Aldi's and Kroger and Publix when things are on sale, and then of course those little sometimes I could get those sandwiches from the Publix. I don't think I'm supposed to got that sandwich today. It rung up as it took the food stamps, so I had got me a big foot-long Publix sandwich and some drinks and a bag of little potato chips. What do you say? I'm going. I'm sleepy. My mom will be 65. Okay. But like I said, food stamps is based upon your income. So I don't know what the income limit is. It depends on the number of people in your household, how much money she's getting in Social Security, and all of those things. So she would just have to apply, basically. That's all I could say, Ruthie. But a lot of people, look at the cat count, it's gonna break it out of nowhere, assholes. Anyway, Social Security, whatever you get with Social Security benefits, because there's a difference between SSI and getting your Social Security. So if you had if someone was to get SSI, that's Social Security disability. So you may qualify to get food stamps because SSI is not really considered taxable income. And that's another topic I'm going to talk about tomorrow. It's about Social Security and your tax return. And when you should report Social Security and the difference between reporting Social Security and SSI. But in a nutshell, if you get SSI, you do not report SSI. But if you work SSI, Social Security disability, and you was to work, your Social Security disability does get decreased, and then you have to file a tax return. So that, or Social Security disability, they can only work so much each month before they lose their benefits. But that's not, now I'm driving, so I can't really see anything until I get home. What's the other thing I was going to talk about? That you should not forget. Oh, the IRA account. Now, if you want to save on your taxes for this year, you can open up an IRA account. I'm looking into opening an IRA account through Merrill Lynch, because Bank of America has something with Merrill Lynch. So I'm going to open up an account with Merrill Lynch, because Merrill Lynch is widely known. And I'm going to open up an account. So you want to look at opening up a retirement account, especially if you're in these gig jobs, because they say 60% of the workforce is going to be a 1099, or it's going to be more of a gig. Stop flashing your damn lights. See, if you're a police, then you can flash it. But if you're just flashing just to be flashing, assholes. You about to turn and you flashing your fucking light in my fucking face? Jackass. Anywho, what was I saying? Oh, opening up an IRA account. If your full-time income comes from various 1099s, and you may work a little, and even working at a regular job, most of these regular jobs, because I've been interviewing with a lot of different companies in the last few years, they're not even offering any type of benefits. The last 2 companies or 3 that I worked with, they don't even offer any type of retirement plan. Nothing. No benefits, no health insurance, no nothing. Even the one I'm going to on Thursday, I'll be interviewing with on Thursday, they don't have any benefits. They asked me on the phone today, are you okay without getting any benefits? And of course I'm going to say no. If I was going to look for a job, I'm not going to say, well, I'm looking for a job with benefits if I knew they ain't had no benefits. I feel, what do you say? I need to start my IRA as soon as possible. I'm fine. Oh, I just have to see who I'm talking with. All right, let me go back. Put the phone back on the hook. All right, I'll read my comments when I get closer to the house. I can't read when I'm driving. Yeah, so open up an IRA account. Put as much as you can this year. You know, the IRA account at Merrill Lynch, they do allow you to automatically withdraw from your account. So you could put aside $50 or $100 a month into that account, and whatever you contribute, make sure you open it by April 15th, and then you get a tax. It'll help you reduce your taxes this year, and it'll be a good way of saving. So, because what I was saying was, before somebody was flashing that dang light in my damn eyes, was that most of y'all, you say, dang it, most of y'all that I watch, y'all be flashing your screen every you work 80 hours, 85, 90 hours a week. You know, what are you doing to contribute to your retirement? I read someone's email. Thank you. You want to put aside money for your retirement, for IRA, because let me tell you, in the 10 years that I was working with the government, and I was setting aside 200, I think it was 200. It was either 200 or the maximum percentage in my account with the thrift plan. Even though the government contributes the 5% or whatever, I had almost saved a contribution of $80,000 plus, and that was because the market grew and it also fell. I did lose some money in those 10 years, you know, because the market goes up and down. The longer you have to save for retirement, the more you could endure or absorb any type of loss, especially that economic downturn. Because trust me, when I used to get my statements, I was to see that negative whatever in that C fund or whatever fund it was, it made me sick. But I had years to go to retire, and I was able to absorb some of those losses because I also had a lot of gains too. So even without a contribution match, you know, from another company, you still want to set aside an IRA account. Now there's different types of accounts. There's a Roth IRA, and then there's an IRA account. But either way, you want to start doing that, especially if you're in the 1099. The other thing you have to remind that you got to remember, or not remember, but do, is pay that fourth quarter estimated tax. April 15th is also the deadline to pay the quarterly taxes. Oops. Why do people driving so freaking close? So you want to make sure that you make that quarterly estimated tax. You should be making quarterly taxes 4 times a year. Not waiting until the end of the year and then you pay. You're supposed to pay quarterly. Pay as you go. The tax system is a pay as you go system. So you should be making that last quarterly estimated tax. And that's one of the things you want to do. So just to recap. 1, file an extension to file, but it doesn't give an extension to pay. The taxes are due April 15th. And anything unpaid, you get tax penalties and interest. Penalties half of 1%. No, it's a 0.5%, and the interest rate is whatever the interest rate is now that is set for the government. I do believe it's still at 5%, but I have to look it up on the IRS.gov website and see if they raised it. Did they raise taxes? Not taxes, did they raise the penalty rather? And you want to avoid an estimated tax penalty as well as the penalty for not paying and you want to avoid any delinquent tax return penalty. So if you cannot pay, that does not mean do not file your return. If you owe, do not say, oh, well, I owe, so I'm not going to file it. That's wrong. File your return anyway, but if you cannot finish by the deadline, file an extension, 4858, and you get a 6-month extension to file, not to pay, but to file. Because if you owe and you didn't file, then you're going to get a delinquent tax penalty, which is 25% or 100% of the tax, or whichever is greater. And you don't want that type of penalty. Believe me, you don't. So file it. If you owe, file it. If you can't, file an extension, which will give you to October 15th. The other one that I mentioned was opening up an IRA account, which will save on your taxes for this year, and it will help reduce your taxes for this year. You will get the reduction on your taxes for this year, and it'll possibly help you, but especially if you owe a lot of money, or even if you owe, opening that account will help you to diminish the tax that you may owe if you owe any taxes, and it also helps you to save on your taxes. Now, I'm sorry if it's dark, but I'm still driving. What's the other thing? Let me see. What did I miss? IRA, extension of pay, extension of file, estimated taxes. What am I missing? I'm missing something. I'm missing another key point. I think those are all the points that I made. Let me see what you're saying. No, I'm at a red light. If you roll over a 401k to any IRA, nope, that doesn't count. Nope, that don't count. Rolling over a 401k to an IRA, no, that doesn't count. And besides, if you take out money out of a 401k, they consider it a distribution, and you may be subject to pay the withholdings and the penalty for early withdrawal. But nope, that doesn't count. An IRA, first of all, you really don't want, well, let me say it like this. You really do not, that's not considered an IRA account. If you got a 401k and you left the job or a company and you say, you know what, let me roll it over, you may not really want to do that, because number one, you want to think about what the fees are. You have to pay fees that comes out. Now, some companies charge a lot, some charge little. Like me, I'm not going to take my money out of my thrift account and roll it over to another account. I'm not going to do that, because that's considered a distribution, and you have to pay fees. So you could keep your 401k the way it is and just open up another IRA. That does not count as a contribution. That doesn't count. So you cannot take out money from one account to another. That's a distribution. I plan on keeping my account under the thrift because the fees are so low, and I'm not going to take out that huge amount of money into and putting in that type of account. I'll be paying the fees will kill me alone. I might as well keep the account that I have now. You may be able to contribute more into your 401k. You could do that, but no, that's not an IRA account. That's your 401k account and IRA account. Stay here, I can see I'm going to get my 90%. No, let me go home. It make no difference. I need to get up in the morning and meet that person at Panola. And if I stick around here till midnight and then I'll wake up late and then I'll be late for my training. Yep, so those are one of the key points that you want to keep in mind when as this tax season comes to an end. Oh, the quarterly estimated taxes. That's what I think that was the last point that I was making. And another thing is if you have the Stride app, at least I know the updated version that I have, it tells you to put in your income, whatever income you make. It'll tell you how much you should set aside in that money that you should pay as the estimated taxes. It kind of gives you a ballpoint, the new version of the Stride app, which is free, by the way, and it also helps you. You can also link your bank account with the Stride app by linking it. You can also be able to. It can also help you pull out categories of your expenses, and it categorizes it. That's one good thing I like about the Stride app. You know, one is free, and two, it has you don't have to pay some $50-something or QuickBooks. You know, those are tools to help you keep yourself organized. It doesn't do your taxes. It just keeps you organized. But if you don't turn on the app, if you don't keep track of it on your app by turning it on when you're going out and about, it's no use if you're not consistent with it. But I've pretty much been consistent in keeping track of my miles with my Stride app since I've used it. I think it's been damn, I'm gonna need me some brakes. I put on, not slammed on brakes, I went on stopped on brake, and it took a long time for me to stop. That was such a long stride, but I guess the brakes are still good. I know about those tires on the other hand. But anywho, what I was saying was, you want to make sure you keep track of your miles and use the Stride app. I think it's very good. You know, you can always go back, and you say, oh, I forgot. You could go back and add the miles that you may have missed. And you can also link your bank account, and it will help break down the categories as well. Once I start my return and I'm able to go on live, go on my YouTube and show the app in terms of my breakdowns of expenses with the Stride app, I could show y'all last year's tax return, because I did not file my return last year. You say, what? You didn't file? No, I have a refund due to me. So, oh yeah, the statute of limitations was the other point. If you didn't file in 3 years, you got you have until this year to file it. And if you go do a refund, you will not get it. So that was the other point that I was making. So, anywho, I will be filing my return from last year, and I have to print it. I already got it ready to be printed and to be mailed. I think the only reason why I wasn't so quick to file my return last year was, one, I was only getting back $300 or some $350, something like that. I wasn't getting a whole big refund. I'm so used to getting $3,000s of dollars each year because I used to pay so much in taxes when I was working, especially when I was at the IRS, and I had paid so much money in taxes that I was fortunate to get a very good refund. But the best refund I ever had was almost 10 years ago when I first bought my house. I had the first time home buyer credit. That was $8,000 just for buying a house, as long as I stayed in the house for 5 years, which is now going on 10. And then I had the credit when I had bought those $5,000 worth of windows, energy efficient. I got a credit for that, plus plus what I was getting from my regular overpaid taxes. My refund that year was almost $14,000. And you know, I saved that refund. Every refund I ever got, I saved it into my online bank account. And I never touched that. I never touched my refunds. Never. I always put the state and the federal and just saved it. And I just saved it. It was like through the years. I just saved it, you know. Or I split it up. That's what I really did. I put one into my regular account. I put one into my emergency fund, and I put one in my long term. So when I was able to save, you know, one point I was saving in my Capital One account, which I'm going to start doing again. I'm going to start putting my extra little gig money into my account and just not touch it. It's just not going to be part of my regular paying my bills. It's going to be part of build back my emergency fund, because after I had lost my job and when I started these gig jobs, that emergency, I was gonna say that, put it that way, my little stash at least a couple years. And I was able to not exhaust my account, because that's why I started these gig jobs. That's when I started doing Uber and all those other gigs, was because it was a way for me not to absorb my expenses so quickly. And unfortunately now my account has been eliminated to practically nothing, zero. And it could be a little bit stressful, you know, being in that situation now. But I thank God that I always had that mindset of I will be okay. But now I want to go back into saving mode, put it that way. And saving mode means like literally like going on an extreme savings plan, you know. That's why those little gigs that I was doing, that I was telling y'all about with the survey.com and you know, scanning my receipts with the Ibotta, because those was getting little points. I don't get points with that one. I actually get little cash, but I haven't, that's something that's good to do to take care of little expenses, I always find different ways of making money. So let me tell you about this weekend. Remember that other big orange production that I was telling you about? So I will be getting, I didn't do the third day. I was supposed to do 3 days. It was probably $270 for 3 days. I only did two out of the 3 days. So I'll be getting a check April 13th for $180. And that was the most easiest thing ever. Now, yeah, I was walking around the Walmart handing out those little pamphlets, talking to the other vendors who was trying to make a sale with DirecTV and Satellite One or whatever that cable. I was asking them about the job they was doing. And they said if they didn't sell nothing, they don't get paid for nothing. I mean, hell, if I be standing there for 8 hours and don't get no sale and you don't get paid no kind of money, I said, bump that. I said, I don't care if I sell any type of no contract phone, because I said I still get $90 whether someone buys that phone or not. All I'm supposed to do was wear the shirt, stand in front of a box. Let me tell you what they did. The only reason why I didn't do the third place in Marlboro, one, because it was a little bit too far out the way, was the other reason was I put the display and left it in the store. I told them I was coming back the next day. I get to the store, someone threw away the box, the big stand that I had that I had put up. They threw the box in the garbage. And I couldn't even tell the agency that they threw the box in the garbage, because technically they wanted me to take it home and come back. I said, it ain't no sense me taking down this box if I'm gonna be back tomorrow morning. So when I get there at the store, they only had the 2 big cubicle boxes up and threw away my stand, and then under the stand had all the supplies. And it turned around, it was these fake little virtual glasses that's made out of paper. That was useless because they didn't send me a demo phone. So there was a lot of things they said that I was supposed to be doing that I didn't have to do. So I just, had my report, accounted for the inventory, make sure they had whatever, gave out people the pamphlets, talked to people about it, and that was it. A couple people bought a phone. Well, they didn't buy no phone. They inquired about the phones, but they act like they didn't know nothing. I was like, really? So they was the most rudest Walmart that I've gone to, and I didn't like it. I was like, nah. I said, I'll never do that again. I mean, it was fun, don't get me wrong. You can make $90 for 6 hours, and pretty much I just walked around the store, hand out the little pamphlets, and that was it. So I took my picture of my paperwork. I took a picture, sent it to the email, downloaded the document, downloaded my picture showing me that I was at the store in front of the boxes, and that was it. And they confirmed it on Monday, and I'll be paid. They're gonna be mailing me a check on April 13th, something like that, one of those days, 11th, 12th, or the 13th. But I'll be getting a check in the mail. Now, it might be a month or so, and the only reason why it's a month because they don't do direct deposit. And because they don't do direct deposit, they have to process those checks. But it's a legit company, I'll tell you. And then my next assignment with them will be not this weekend, but the following weekend, which is 4 days. And depending on how many hours that I work, I'll either get $100. 5 hours is about 60 something bucks. But if it's 8, and it's resets, and resets basically means that you'll be working with a team of other $10. And that's pretty good because that's what, $14 an hour? 15, 8. Yeah, it's about 15 or $15 an hour. So, I'll be doing that not this week, but the week after next. Now, I do have an interview on Thursday with this one company as a claims customer service representative. And the way it sounds to me, they was asking me, when can you start, and da-da-da-da. I was thinking if they offer me the position, I think they want me to start Tuesday. Or they have their first class on Tuesday. I don't know. I'll find out when I get there Thursday. Because I hate going to companies where you take this test, you take this phone interview, and just to turn around and say no. Or thank you for coming in, or whatever the case may be. At this point, I'm not even going to worry about